a lot of guys, bro, it's over, man. I hate to be gloom and doom, but some men will not pass on their genetics. Some dudes will be left out. I think it was the guy from Fresh and Fit, Marin. He said that women only reproduce with a certain amount of men or some shit like that. There's a portion of men that won't get to have a family or won't be able to reproduce. He said something like women only deal with like 50 or 60% of men when it comes to starting families and stuff, while a lot of guys will be like left out of the deal. Like not every single man is gonna have children. If his money is not right, or if he ain't part of the 20% of men, you know, the 80-20 rule, man. That only 80% of women are dealing with 20% of the men, bro. That's the fact. You know, statistics back that shit up, man. You feel me? So some men won't be producing themselves at all. Like some dudes will be left out. Like this guy that's been walking around in that parking lot all night long. Well, he don't walk all night long. But I see him walking back and forth sometimes. He's done. He's finished. You feel what I'm saying? This is a short video. This ain't gonna be a long video. Cause I'm halfway to my destination right now. I'm about to fly a sign real quick and go turn in my numbers. You feel what I'm saying? He's done. He's walking back and forth, you know, in that parking lot all night long. He's one guy that won't reproduce himself. Some guys will be left out, bro. Like me, I could have had a family in my 20s when I was dealing with women a whole lot, man. I could have got a female pregnant. I was dealing with a lot of women in my 20s. You feel what I'm saying? So I could have did that, but I wore condoms most of the time. I didn't want to have a baby or catch any diseases or nothing like that. Like most of the time, I wore condoms. Most of the time, it's very rare that I stuck my dick into a female with no condom. Like I only had sex with like probably about 20 women. Well, not that many. I say about 12. About 12 women without the condom my whole entire life. My whole entire life. So I only know what raw pussy feel like 12 times out of the 100 times I had sex. Well, I had more. I had, if you count the many times me and my girl had sex, I had sex more than 100 times in my life. If you talk about like having sex 3 times a week. But those are the days, man. When you got a girl, you get to have sex at least 3 or 4 times a week. Those are the days. But for some men, they won't be able to experience that type of life, bro, until they get money. That's the only time, you know, they'll be able to have a Chad or a Tyrone life or have a girlfriend or a wife or something like that. You know, they won't be able to experience that.
Wait.
Like I said, the guy that walked around the parking lot, he's toast, bro. At an early age, his life is over, bro. At 26, he never got to experience nothing, bro. And he walks around the parking lot like he owns the place. I'm like, bro, you are done for. You're finished, bro. And what a lot of guys don't understand is that, bro, your genetics is on the line right now. If you ain't chasing the bag with all your goddamn might, you are going to be one finished man. You better be chasing that bag like it's no tomorrow, bro. Or it's going to be a done deal for you. You know, and it gets harder as you get older to start families legitimately. Shit. Or legitly. Okay, whatever. It gets harder to find families as you get, I mean, it gets harder to like start like get off me, whatever that fuck that was. It gets harder to find young females to have your kids as you get older because your looks fade. That's why you gotta have money, bro. Like dudes who are in the top 20%, they don't have that problem of reproducing themselves, bro, because they got their shit together. All the guys who ain't got their shit together, they're gonna have problems unless they're a Pookie or Ray Ray or a Chad or a Tyrone. These guys can pass on their genetics very easily. But some guys gonna struggle, man. And what some guys don't understand is that you'll never come out of your situation if you don't work your way out that motherfucker, bro. I say take the long route, man. Set long-term goals and hope for the best and stuff like that, man, because a lot of guys, they reach 60 without doing anything. Like this one guy, like I said, man, he been living in this car for I don't know how long. He's 60, bro. That means he didn't have no plans in chasing the bag throughout his youth. So now he reached 60 years old and he's living in a car or he's living in his vehicle. I don't want to be 60 living in a vehicle, bro, or living on the streets, still homeless and stuff. So that's why I'm playing the long game with these numbers. What's up with it? What's up with it? Jamie in the house, back in the house. I just got done with that workout. You ask guys, man, you worked out quick. I'm like, well, I work out with intensity for like 40 minutes, man. My shit is intense. Capoeira is intense, man. You're throwing kicks at 100 miles per hour, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Woo, man. Anyway, like I said, you gotta take the long route when it comes to chasing the bag. Ain't nothing easily obtained. You have to accept that. Hey, the bag is not easily obtained, but eventually in the future, somewhere down the line, I'll come out of my situation with flying colors. No homo. I'll come out of my situation in the future. But if you don't chase the bag, you'll stay there your whole entire life. Like my dad, he passed away without getting the bag, bro. He stayed in that situation his whole entire life. He never got out. He died in the situation. So, and he died alone. And he died prematurely. He could have lived an extra 15 years if he would have had a woman by his side. You know what I'm saying? So remember, the bag is something that it's a long-term goal, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get it overnight. But I'd rather be taking the long route, you know, taking the long-term option than never ever coming out of my situation, basically a fucking life sentence. Nah, I'd rather eventually come out of that shit, bro. Like when I was in jail, there was this white guy who, I guess he got caught with drugs or something, or he was selling drugs or whatever, and they gave him 10 years. I looked at him, I said, you'll do half of that, so You know, with good behavior, you'll do half of that. I try to calm him down because he was like, man, this is my life, bro. This is my life. He was freaking out, that guy. And I was like, I looked at him, I said, bro, that's better than a life sentence. You'll be out before no time. Don't worry. You're going to do half of that, which is 5 years. 5 years passed by really quickly. I'm telling you, bro. I try to calm his mind because he was getting sentenced to like 10 years and I don't know, jail or prison or something. I said, you'll get out, don't worry. 5 years passed by. Look how fast the pandemic passed by. And you'll be out before no time. It's better than a life sentence. Trust me. So I choose the route of doing some years instead of doing a life sentence. When you choose not to chase the bag your whole entire life, that's a life sentence for you, bro. So I start getting on my goals right now, so I won't have to do a life sentence. And I will come out in the future. I will be living good in the future. But right now, we doing time. We behind bars. The only difference is that you're walking around freely to go wherever you please. But you can't get sex on the regular. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, you know, the future. That's all I care about. I don't care about right now. In the future. You know? So you gotta understand, like, bro, it's either all or nothing. It's either you stay not doing nothing your whole life and reach 60, you don't have nothing. Like that one guy living in his car at 60 years old. That's kind of embarrassing. I mean, it's embarrassing for me too, like, to be in my situation, to be homeless at 45. God damn, that sounds like a fucking gunshot, bro. That backfire from that car. It's the first. Everybody bringing their muscle cars out. The first is coming up in a few days. So you got a bunch of muscle cars out, high performance cars and shit. You know. So as you hear all that muscle, see, that's the competition you're dealing with right now. That's the reason why you're struggling. You feel what I'm saying? You see the muscle cars that just drove by? I mean, you didn't see it, but you heard it, right? There was a gang of muscle cars, like a group of muscle cars that just rolled by. This is the reason why you're struggling in the date market, because of these guys who own $100,000 cars. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand this, bro. Don't reach 60 and don't have nothing, man. Like, prep for your older age, please. A lot of these guys are finished, bro. Like, the guy that's living in his car. Look on the bright side with this guy that lives in his car, right? This 60-year-old dude. Look on the bright side. He did pass on his genetics. But the guy's like 6'2", 6'3". He's an older guy. Bald-headed. Kind of look like a ugly Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Me and him had a falling out. I don't really talk to him no more. You feel what I'm saying? You know, me and him, we had a falling out. So I don't talk to him. But to be 60 years old, you know, living in the last quarter of your life, that's not how you want to live. To be living in the last quarter of your life inside a car, that means he didn't prep. He didn't think like, oh damn, I'm 40, let me like start prepping now for those other years to come, because they're gonna come around. And you want, by the time them years pass by, man, you want to be living good in the last quarter of your life, not living struggling and shit, bro. You struggling to live and living the struggle. You feel what I'm saying? So the struggle would never stop unless you get disciplined and start chasing this bag. It would never stop. You would go to the grave with nothing, bro. You can't pass on your genetics. You can't pass on the money to your children. None of that. You feel what I'm saying? You know, It's time to get on the ball, man. Chase this bag. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna fly my sign. I'm gonna go turn my numbers in. I need to put down $20 on my numbers today. At least $20. You feel what I'm saying? Because I wasted so much time already chasing women in my 20s and my 30s. I'm not gonna do that throughout my 40s and shit, bro. Because I see that it didn't work. And a lot of that stuff was a waste of time, going to bars and clubs, just trying to get a woman all the time. Just trying to get a nut. Trying to get a nut off all the time. You know, that be some dude's problem, is they allow women to distract them from their goals. And they ended up broke and dusty. Be like, why are you broke and dusty? Because I kept chasing women throughout my 20s and 30s. I chased women my whole entire life. And then the women, they call you broke and dusty. Like, oh, yeah, the reason why I'm broke and dusty because I was chasing you bitches my whole entire life. That's why I'm broke and dusty. Like, nah, take time out. I don't care if you gotta stop having sex. I don't care if you gotta stop dating land whales. That's all that's out there for you anyway. You ain't got nothing good on the table when you dating right now in this highly competitive dating market. When you go back out to dating, there's nothing but land whales and women who are below your looks level. Like if I started dating right now, even at low percentage body fat, I would be out there dating women who are fat, out of shape, very inferior to me, to my looks. And I don't want that for the rest of my life. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's what happened, before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, like the beginning of the pandemic, I was dating some fat chick. And every time I would FaceTime her and I saw her fat face, I was like, this is not my looks level. She is not on my looks level. I'm on enhancements, working, slaving in the gym just so I could get a land well. No, thank you. Because she's not on my looks level. I kept looking at her with disgust, but I was like, ugh, what am I doing? Like, she's the only one, that's the only thing I can get though right now. Like, goddamn. And then, I dated a woman that was inferior to my looks before, man. And it's just like, oh, nah, bro, you gotta. Anyway, man, you gotta get that bag, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So, you guys have a good day, man. I gotta do my thing. My battery about to die and shit. You feel me? So I gotta keep at least 10% on my battery. You guys have a good day, man. Peace out and bless. I'm out.